Gold digger stole everything from my dad, so I ruined her life. My mom died of ovarian cancer at only 55 years old. It broke my dad's heart. They had been together since college and were the same age, with my dad being only a month older. My dad met my now stepmom when she was my mom's nurse at the hospital where she spent her final days. My stepmom Grace played all the right notes to gain my dad's trust. She was empathetic to him, nurturing and comforting after my mom passed. I was 17 and old enough to sense that she was just trying to weasel her way into getting my dad's resources, but it was up to my dad if he wanted to be in a relationship with her. I was in my final year of public school and had just won a scholarship to attend college out of the country the following year. My dad mourned my mom for a year, and that whole time, Grace would check in on him by phone every month or so, in my opinion, to scope out the possibility of sinking her hooks in him. After a year passed, Grace took the gloves off and went hard after my dad. Grace was only 40 when she and my dad started seeing each other. I didn't like her, but at the same time, my dad at least didn't seem so depressed anymore, so I tried to be less pessimistic about her and give her the benefit of the doubt. In my gut, I didn't trust her though. My father was a very successful banker during his career and amassed quite a portfolio of wealth, so after 6 months of dating, Grace and my father are married. My dad never really got over my mom though, and he was getting weaker and weaker even though he was only 57. Since his health was fading, he called me and asked me point blank, "Boy, what do you need to set you up in this life?" I told him I don't need anything. I'm a man and can take care of myself. But what are you even talking about, Dad? You're going to be around for decades yet. I did remind him that he had living sisters with children. I also reminded him that I had a full scholarship to college, so don't worry about giving me any cash. He died only a year later at 59. Of course, I have seen many Hollywood movies, so I consider the conspiracy theory that maybe my dad's nurse wife poisoned him and made him sign over all his money to her. But I honestly do not think that's what happened. Other relatives didn't like Grace either, but they knew my dad was totally in love with my mom and that her death utterly broke him. Long story short, my dad bequeathed his 5-bedroom house to me even though I wasn't expecting it and didn't ask for it. He gave a small endowment to each of his sisters and their children. He left about 80% of all his existing money to Grace, which amounted to several hundreds of thousands of dollars. My dad ignored me because he was generous to a fault and still gave me several tens of thousands of dollars, which was very useful to me. Grace tried to put on a friendly front, but I could tell she was angry that she didn't get my dad's house too. That belonged to me. I had the legal papers to prove it. She was especially mad because we live in an extremely upscale and trendy location, and houses are hard to come by and easily sold for massive profits. During the first few months after my dad's death, I had the nauseating, creepy experience of knowing Grace was trying to feel me out to see if I might want a little relationship with her. Gross. She still stayed at the house though, because she had gotten used to living there over the last 3 years and acting like she owned it. And even though I officially owned it, I was always away at college and only visited my dad's old house once every couple of months. And even then, it wasn't to see Grace, but to see my cousins who lived just a few miles away. I downplayed the fact that it was really my house. And over the months, I think Grace gradually forgot that she had no legal right to the house. She probably believed that sooner or later, because I never asked her for any of the hundreds of thousands of my dad's dollars that she now had, I was somehow independently wealthy and would just give up my house to her. I knew I'd eventually hydrogen bomb this woman when she started dating some new guy only 5 months after my dad was in the ground. One time when I came home from college after graduating, she and her new boyfriend, some sleazy-looking D-bag named Ivan, who was only a few years older than me, were acting like I was a guest in my own house and that they owned it. I played along. Grace told me she gave away my PlayStation 4 to Ivan's cousin because I'm too old to play with video games. I don't even know this D-bag, and you give him my PS4 to give to another D-bag who I also don't know? I quickly changed all my network passwords that same day. I smiled, but I knew what I had to do eventually. She also said that she and Ivan were getting married because I just can't mourn your father forever. I have to move on with life. I tell her that I graduated college, secured employment with a local firm, and will soon find a new place to live. She looks thrilled, especially the part where I'll soon have a new place to live. Then, in a patronizing way, she tells me, "You always have a place in our house, though. You are welcome to stay whenever you please." Thanks, Grace. Really generous of you. What I really say is that I will probably have a new place in 3 months. She says that is wonderful, because she intends to go to her homeland to have a wedding with Ivan, and afterward have her honeymoon. She assures me it's a local affair. Otherwise, I'd invite you, honey. And anyway, I know you're so busy. I congratulate her. She asks me if I can watch the house for her. Watch my own house? Sure. What I really say is, of course, I will take care of the house. I am careful not to say your house. She and her D-bag fiance go on their trip, and I immediately put advertisements on rental websites offering to lease my house. I hire movers and have all of Grace's furniture and possessions boxed up and put into a storage rental facility. I retain all of my parents' furniture that they had before my dad met Grace. Locks? Changed? All of them. Within days, I am inundated with dozens of inquiries regarding my amazing furnished house with fantastic views. I rent it to a wonderful young family, a barrister and a school teacher wife and their 2 preteen children. They pay me their first and last month's rent and sign a lease for a year. I warn them about my crazy stepmom, who thinks this is her house, but I present them with contact information to my lawyer in case they need any assurance. I then found a great apartment in the city near my new place of work. I met a woman in a restaurant I frequent at night after a long workday. We have been dating for 6 months now and are engaged to be married. Grace, of course, tried to shriek and cause trouble when she realized she got kicked out of my house, but my lawyer quickly shut her mouth without my ever having to speak to her garbage face again. From what I hear, she and her trash husband left the country, and I assume they're blowing through my dad's money and will soon be broke. Grace may go and try to exploit some other lonely man into giving her his money. Speaking of money, the house that I rent out is generating so much money that I can not only help pay for my cousin's college, but I moved into a larger apartment of my own with my fiance. I love my job, but I could survive solely on renting my dad's old house. And to think, if Grace had only been cooler and nicer, I might have let her stay at the house just to be a good sport. And definitely if she stayed the heck out of my room. But no, she had to act all proprietary. So I made her homeless as a wedding gift. Am I the jerk?